already done with the market structure and pricing. So we have done earlier about the market structure and their features. We have done with the classification of market, perfect competition and the monopoly, right? So today we'll be starting with the monopolistic competition. The concept of monopolistic competition was introduced by Professor Chamberlain in his famous book, The Theory of Monopolistic Competition. So let me write down the name of the professor. He was Professor Chamberlain. Fine. He introduced the concept of monopolistic competition in his famous book, The Theory of Monopolistic Competition. Fine. Now, the basic assumption of monopolistic competition are the same as that of perfect competition with the exception of the homogeneous product. See, here in monopolistic competition, if you have to understand this concept, monopolistic is actually a combination of perfect plus imperfect market. Right, as we have in case of perfect market, we have large number of buyers and large number of sellers, right? But in perfect market, what we have homogeneous product. That means same identical product is being sold. In perfect competition, we have homogeneous product is being sold. But the only difference is that in the monopolistic competition, monopolistic mein kya hota hai? Why it is said as imperfect market? Here also in monopolistic you will find a lots of means a large number of buyers and large number of sellers competing. The sellers have entire means they have knowledge about the market, buyers do have the knowledge about the market. Then how it becomes the monopolistic competition? You can have this question that how monopolistic competition is an imperfect market. Why? Because it comprises the combination of the means features from perfect as well as from imperfect market. So how it becomes monopolistic? See, the first difference is that homogeneous product is not there. In perfect market, in perfect market, you have all the product, means all the sellers are selling exact identical product, means there can be many buyers, there can be many sellers also. There are many sellers also, right? Same is there in case of monopolistic competition. There are large number of buyers and large number of sellers. But the basic difference is this homogeneous product. Homogeneity is not applicable. That means it is not identical product. The product differs. So the main difference here in monopolistic competition is, I'm just giving the two important feature, that is product differentiation and price discrimination. These are the two most important features that differentiate a monopolistic from being a perfect market. So it does not work in the perfect market. Why? Because it has got these two concepts, product differentiation and price discrimination. So here in the perfect market, there is no differentiation, no product differentiation, no price discrimination. Everything is same. Means in perfect market, we know in perfect market, every firm, every buyer and seller has to take the price whatever is given in the market. There is no difference, right? If it is 10 rupees, then 10 rupees for every unit, 10 rupees for every seller and 10 rupees for every buyer. So simply every firm in a perfect competition market is a price taker. They are not price setter firm, right? They are price taker. So there is no competition regarding price. Fine. But in case of monopolistic market, there is price discrimination, which is definitely the feature of imperfect market. In imperfect market, price differs from suppose you and from some other student. If I charge different fees for different student, if I charge different fees, different prices for different units of books sold, I sold 2 books to you, I sold 3 books to someone else. So I may give 5% discount to someone, I give you 2% discount, I give them 5% discount. So price discrimination is an important factor which is there in imperfect market. So monopolistic competition is a special type of market which is a combination of perfect market and imperfect market. Simply the basic example you will find of monopolistic competition is like the soap or the beauty soap, beauty products. You have many things. beauty products are there, like Synthol, Liril, or what to say, they all come, Lifebuoy, they all compete in the same range of products. They are all giving you the different type of, means same things, same soap is there, but only the variability is regarding the price, or with the textures, colors, prices, scent, all those things, right? So there the difference matters. Fine. Now, what are the features of monopolistic competition? The features, let me write down the features. Features of monopolistic competition. First is many firms. I told that same as that of a perfect competitive market, there are large number of buyers as well as large number sellers in the market, right? Second is differentiated product. Fine. It simply means that the products are differentiated. The products can be, means they are almost same. See, all the beauty products, all the beauty creams that we use, it is almost of same. If either we use of Oriflame, you get it from Avon, or different companies are, Revlon is there, Lakme is there. Every firm is selling a face powder. Suppose face powder or fairness cream, it's almost the same thing they are selling, but they differentiate on the basis of color, textures, or some physical packaging. They're different things, the textures, all those things. So for example, different brands of shampoos, toothpaste, etc., they all work, means they all compete in the monopolistic competition, right? Some control over price in a narrow range. Now the another feature is some control over price in narrow range. It simply means that firms in the market do not consider the reactions of their rival when choosing their product prices or annual sales target. Here, some control over price in a narrow range means in the monopolistic competitive market, firms, there are different firms definitely in this monopolistic. Suppose this is a monopolistic industry, there are many firms operating, like many firms are selling soaps or selling toothpaste. There are so many firms they are operating, like we have suppose Colgate, and what to say, Patanjali is there, Miss Work is there, then Pepsodent is there. So many companies are there, right? Now they have some, they do not consider the reaction of their rival when choosing their product prices or annual sales target. What happens is that many firms in their specific segment, sometimes what happens, like Colgate, if or the Patanjali is working in a specific segment, so they normally have some control over their prices, right? Actually, it's not totally correct that they will not consider the competitive prices, because every company has to work with the competition and everyone is working in the industry, so they have to choose the price range and the benchmarking as per the competitors working in the industry. But definitely in their specific segment, companies have their own capacities and own control over their specific segment, right? Relatively easy entry, they have got relatively easy entry and as well as entry and exit, as unlike your monopoly. In the monopoly and oligopoly, we have studied that companies cannot enter into the industry very easy, because there's lots of restriction either from the government, or there are lots of restriction. But in monopolistic competition, since we understood that there are large number of firms, so it becomes definitely relatively easy to either enter in the industry or to exit from the industry, right? Much non-price competition. Much non-price competition. See, competition on the price, definitely pricing factor is always there, but non-price competition is more than that of price, because if we follow a price competition, then definitely the other means other firms in the industry will also start reducing the price. Now we cannot work with the price competition. Price competition is ultimately not the best way to compete. So here the competition is more on advertisement, branding, promotion, customer service, quality. Means there are different things like means a producer can create a brand awareness, branding. So if a brand is created well, then that brand recall will help a marketer to sell the product more easily, right? So this is like branding, the physical feature, packaging. So see, price is one such factor which determine the demand for a product, right? So here we cannot compete solely on price because there are so many other factors are there. So in monopolistic competition, more determinants, the other determinants are taken care, like the branding, marketing awareness, and then the perception creation. Lots of factors needs to be taken care. Fine. Otherwise, what will happen if we only compete on price? A marketer could not sustain for long. Fine. So here much non-price competition is there. Advertising, trademarks, and advertisement, trademarks, and brand names. See, what does it mean here? Since it's a monopolistic competition, here the producers are competing with each other. Lots of competition because large number of buyers, large number of sellers, and selling a differentiated product. Here the main focus is differentiated product. So how to differentiate means how I am differentiating my product from yours. I have to show to the customer, right, how I am differentiating. So the differentiation is based on something I need to inform to my consumers. Now how can I do so? It can be my distinctive features, my competency, special characteristic, cost benefits. So many things need to be taken care. So definitely an advertisement will help me in means in getting these objectives fulfilled. Like I have to advertise. Means how will people remember my name? So I have to advertise on it, right? My trademarks, my brand names, and all those things. Fine. So here a monopolistic producer need to take care of the cost benefit analysis of advertisement because costing has to be taken care, right? Selling cost constitute advertisement, salesmanship, free sampling, free service, door to door canvassing, etc. Under monopolistic competition, selling costs are essential to push up the sales because of product differentiation. Advertisement is two types, namely informative and competitive. Now, in case of advertisement, there are two types of advertisement, right? First can be informative, that is simply to inform. Informative means what? Simply to inform about something. And second could be competitive. Competitive means simply the competitive way, like Colgate and Pepsodent used to do, right? Now, demand curve. Next point is of the demand curve. We have discussed about the demand curve of monopoly, perfect competitive market so much, right? Demand curve in the monopolistic form of market structure is definitely downward sloping because of product differentiation, indicating price elasticity is high because of competition from close substitute. This is so we have discussed about the demand curve of the perfect market, which is horizontal, but in case of your imperfect market or in case of monopolistic, it is same. The demand curve would be downward sloping. It is simply downward sloping. You have this average revenue curve and this is the marginal revenue curve, right? It is simply my average revenue curve is declining and marginal revenue curve is also declining. It's going
So
down
it's
after.
the same as imperfect market.
Sorry, I could not hear you.
Is it the same to imperfect market?
Yes, it's the same in case of imperfect market. It's the same. Means it the demand curve is down, simply the demand curve is downward sloping. You take this as example. The demand curve is downward sloping in case of monopolistic. It is simply because I can sell each additional unit only by reducing my cost, right? It is not a perfect competitive market where I have to means I will sell all the units in the same prices. It is imperfect market. So here imperfection means definitely in order to sell additional unit I have to give something. So what will be I be giving? See, in perfect market, what was the scenario? In the perfect market, my price was constant. So my average revenue was equals to my marginal revenue because every unit that I was selling was on same price. Right.
Right.
In the perfect market, I was selling all the units at rupees 10 only. So my price was equals to my average revenue is equals to my marginal revenue. But in imperfect market, in order to sell more unit, I have to reduce price to 9 and to 8. It might decline in this way, right? So price is here definitely not
So
equals to
I have one little doubt.
yes,
So marginal revenue is a difference between cost from one product to another product, right? I mean, increase in the
one
product.
unit to yes, one unit to
Yeah.
another unit. Yes.
So so if the price is constant, then that would be zero, right?
No, here marginal revenue I'm talking. Marginal revenue is the increment you are getting, the revenue you are generating. Suppose by selling one product, here I'm talking about marginal revenue. For selling
Hmm.
one piece product, I sold it for 10 rupees, right? My marginal revenue is 10 rupees, right? Second
Right.
unit also, I sold it for 10 rupees. So it becomes 2 multiplied by 10 is 20. So my marginal revenue is again 10,
Okay.
20 minus
Got it.
10
Got
is 10. Then again third unit, I sold total revenue is 30. Marginal revenue is 30 minus 20 is again 10. Here since I am selling all the product at the same price, here the price is same. So my marginal revenue is equal. There's no changes. Fine.
it.
But in case of imperfect market, you have to sell additional unit only when you reduce the price. See, we know the demand curve is downward sloping. It's like that, right? It simply indicate once you reduce the price, your quantity demand will increase.
Hmm.
Simply, right? That means in order to sell additional unit, I have to reduce the price. So if I'm reducing the price, my MR will decline, right?
Right.
My average revenue will decline. Ultimately price, if I am declining the price, my price is declining, it leads to my total revenue will decline. देखो सिंपल सा फंडा है, मेरा प्राइस अगर कम रहा है, इन ऑर्डर टू सेल एडिशनल यूनिट मैं अपने प्राइस को कम कर रही हूँ. नाउ वंस आई एम
Got.
रिड्यूसिंग माय प्राइस, माय टोटल रेवेन्यू इज गेटिंग अफेक्टेड. मेरा टोटल रेवेन्यू कम रहा है, तो जो टोटल रेवेन्यू का स्लोप होगा, लाइक दिस इज द टोटल रेवेन्यू, राइट? Average revenue will follow the total revenue and marginal revenue is like this, always like this. हमको पता है ना? And when MR is equals to 0, TR is at the maximum. It should be like that. So, this is the normal curve. This is the total product or total revenue. Average will always follow the total, and this is the marginal. When your marginal is 0, see this is the point, marginal is 0, total is at maximum. We have discussed this now. This is applicable for either total product, total revenue, for everything, whatever you do. Okay, this is the curve. So this was the scenario. Let me, okay, this was complete. Means we are done with monopolistic competition. Now let us start with the oligopoly. Oligopoly. Now we understood that oligopoly. What is oligopoly? Oligopoly is a market structure in which we have few sellers. Sellers are very few, but they are very large players, like large players and dominant players. Dominant players who dominate the market. Sellers are very few, but they are very large players who dominate the market. Oligopoly is a market structure in which a few sellers dominate the sales of a product, and entry of new sellers is difficult or impossible. Like say for the telecom industry, the best example is of telecom industry. We have only few players like Bharti Airtel, Tata, then we have Vodafone, and as such, there are two, three, five, or four or five players, right, in the telecom industry. But whatever may be, they are very dominant players. Means I could not just start and go and just start up a new telecom industry, or I could not enter into this industry, right? Means entry and exit is very difficult. Product can be differentiated or standardized. Here product could be anything, could be standardized or differentiated. Fine, product could be standardized or differentiated. Whose market structures, automobiles, cigarettes and chewing gums are some examples. See, automobiles, cigarettes and chewing gums are some example of differentiated products whose market structures are oligopolistic. Oligopolistic markets are characterized by high market concentration. Most important thing is high market, just a minute, market, क्या लिख रही हूँ मैं, concentration, high market concentration. That means it is concentrated in the hands of few high value players. In oligopolistic market, at least some firms can influence the price by virtue of their large shares of total output produced. Means there are large players, definitely they can, few firms can control the price as well because of either their large share in the market or total volume produced. Fine. Okay. Now, sellers in the oligopolistic market know that when they or their competitors change their prices of output, the profit of all firms in the market will be affected. The sellers are all aware of their interdependency. So here, all the firms in the market are interdependent because no one can actually influence the price. If anyone is going to influence the price or change the price, then it will get affected, means the entire market will get affected, right? They know the change in one firm's price or output will cause a reaction by the competing firm. The response an individual seller expects from his rival is a crucial determinant of his choice. Examples of oligopoly are automobiles, steel, camera films, oil, airline companies, etc. Now, features of oligopoly. Now, let us study the features. Few dominant firms. We understood that there are only few dominant firms in the market. There are not so many firms as in case of monopolistic. Like for soaps and toothpaste, we have so many firms, right? Colgate, Pepsodent, Meswak, Evo, XYZ, lots of firms are there. But for this substitute for your telephone, your Vodafone, Airtel, Reliance, Tata, there are only 4 or 5 where we have to switch. So there are few dominant players, like for example, petrol filling station in India for petrol pump. We don't have much petrol pumps in India, right? Or in Kolkata, rather I'm saying there are no, you will not get lots of options. Like you have HPCL, ONGC, and Indian Oil Corporation. There are only 3 dominant firms of this petrol filling stations, right? Then mutual interdependency. Mutual interdependency is very important here. The firms in the oligopolistic industry are aware of their interdependency and always consider their competitors' reactions when selecting prices, output goals, advertising, budgets, and other business policies. So, mutual interdependency is there, right? Means everyone in the oligopolistic market is aware of the mutual interdependency, right? So, they always consider their, if I would think, means I think that I should reduce the price. Now if I am thinking of reducing the price, I need to think that you as a my competitor, you are also dominant player in the industry, so you are not going to sit idle, right? You will definitely do something in reaction to it. If I am doing something, there would be a reaction from your end. So mutual interdependency is there. And since every player in the market is very dominating, it's not that everyone is chundu mundu. No, it's not like that. Everyone is very dominating. Barriers to entry. Now, restrictions to entry limits the fear of competition and facilitates the ability of the firm to earn long range economic profit. Fine. Then non-price competition. Again, here we don't have any price competition. There exists non-price competition under oligopoly, implying that the firms incur expenditure on advertising in the process of marketing a good or commodity. So here non-price competition is there. So whenever there's an advertisement or any marketing campaign is done, it is simply with a view to inform about the product. It's about the informing about the product simply, right? For example, oil companies in an oligopoly form of market advertise extensively. They advertise their names more than their product because their product is identical to that of their competitors. So it is just their names is being given. Now, group behavior. The next feature is group behavior. The oligopolist market is characterized by group behavior. There's no generally accepted theory on group behavior. For group behavior, we don't have any accepted theory, right? It basically depends on the behavior of the members of the group. For instance, it may happen that the members of the group may compete with one another. See, it might be possible that in a group, you will have different members who are competing with each other. While on the other, there are members who does not compete with each other, right? They are working in a collusive manner. So there are non-collusive oligopoly as well as collusive oligopoly. Collusive oligopoly means we work in coalition. That means we are working in a cooperative mode. Fine. And another way, we are working in a non-collusion mode. That is, we are competing. We are not collaborating. We are not cooperating. Rather, we are competing. See, all the words seems to be like that. Collaboration, competition, cooperation. Everyone is like, and collision, means collision. All the words seems to be means as a synonym among themselves and form a general body. It may also happen that there's a leader in the group and other members of the group follow the leader, price leadership, etc. It is also possible that in the oligopoly, like simply you can observe that the Reliance Group used to give this, Reliance Group started this 4G, 5G network, whatever, and they offered this internet at a very lower rate, very cheap rate. So we also got this facility. Initially, even I have to teach over call, right? On call means once Jio started giving this free and means many services like free calling and all, then I started on call, I started teaching. Then Jio only started giving this internet means with this much of speed and data. So we started means full-fledged online classes started. Otherwise, I used to take classes means since last 10 years, but it was a single student or means 2, 3 student, and that too network fluctuates a lot that time I'm talking about. So definitely Reliance here works as a group leader, and every company in India is following the same pattern, means almost competing on the same pattern. So this way, there's a group leader who tends to influence the other members in the group. Fine. Now,
Right.
next point is intermediate, just a minute. Intermediateness of the demand curve. Now, what's this? One more feature of the oligopolist market is the interminateness of the demand curve facing an oligopolist firm. The demand curve faced by an oligopolist firm represent different quantities of output that firm can sell at different prices. See here, the demand curve of oligopolist market is quite different. It is not the general demand curve. It is different from the others because here means it is given that in the oligopolist market, the demand curve faced by an oligopolist represent different quantities of output. Means here the demand curve represents the different quantities of output that the firm can sell, at different prices. It's almost an expected thing. These quantities cannot be definitely determined because they will be different depending on the different reaction pattern of the competitors. When any firm changes its own price, competitors will also change their prices, and as a result, the demand curve faced by an oligopolist firm lose its definiteness. Now, definiteness means we cannot expect a definite behavior. Like interminateness of the demand curve means I am expecting a demand curve like this, that I can sell this much unit at this price, this much unit at this price. Now, if I am changing my price, my competitors will also change the price. Fine. This way, definite demand curve or definite pattern of the demand curve cannot be expected for an oligopolist because of the competitors move or the change in the competitors pattern, right?
So it's demand curve is not constant.
No, it's not definite.